Hello everyone, this is Jappan here and today I'm gonna teach you how to use your joystick with an Arduino. So let's jump right into it. Let's start with what you'll need. You'll need an Arduino board, which for here I've used the Uno R3. You'll need a breadboard, which will connect your Arduino to your joystick, and obviously a joystick, for which I've used the HW504. You can easily find this on Amazon, and I feel it'll do our job for this project. Then we'll need jumper cables. Be sure to get both male to male and male to female. And on the coding end, we'll need the Arduino IDE, Python 3.13, and VJoy. So let's get to the wiring. Over here, we'll this is our joystick, and over here we have an Arduino. So let's get familiar with the pins. We have the 5-volt pin, which takes input from the 5-volt here on the Arduino, and the ground, acting as the negative terminal, will be connected to the ground on the board. These two are the most important pins as they provide power to the joystick. So be sure to connect them correctly. Next, we have VRX and VRY, which have the X and the Y coordinates of our joystick. So over here, we'll connect them to analog pin 0 and analog pin 1. An analog pin takes digits in a range rather than what a digital pin does, like taking only values of 1 or 0, sort of like binary. And speaking of digital pins, on digital pin 2, we have a SW or a button, which will give a value of 1 when not clicked and 0 when clicked. I'll show you how later in the video. So let's get started with the Arduino code. So when you open your Arduino IDE, start a new sketch and start writing alongside me. First, we'll make a variable int vrx, which basically makes sure that vrx is an integer variable. So we'll assign that to the pin A0, which we saw is connected to vrx. Then we'll do the same for vry and for our button. Then in our void setup, we'll start with pin mode SW input pull up, which sounds like a long and hefty line of code. But what it basically does is that thing which I told you of setting when it's off to 1 and when the button is pressed to 0, basically making sure you don't need an external resistor. Then we'll start a serial which will have all our digits and our values, and we'll start its baud rate or its communication rate to 9600, the standard. We'll start then with the void loop. We'll take another variable as an integer and take it to read the analog coming from vrx over here. Same as vry and same with our button. Then we'll use the serial.print function to print the value of x, the value of y, and the value of our button. So later we can use this with our Python and our VJoy. And just so that the loop doesn't crash or going too fast, we'll add a 20 millisecond delay. So if you want, feel free to pause the video and write down the code. Else, let's move on to the Python code. So we'll start by importing our libraries, which for here we'll need serial and pyvjoy. For pyvjoy, remember to open command prompt and write pip install pyvjoy so that it's added as a library to your computer. Next, we'll have to know which port our Arduino is on. For me, it's COM3. So you can find that by clicking Windows X and then M to open Device Manager. From there, you can see under USB hub and serial port which one your Arduino is connected to. We'll also add the baud rate, again the communication rate, to the same standard of 9600. Then you'll have to take the center for your joystick, which I've taken for X as 525 and Y for 502. You can check the ones for your joystick on your manufacturer's website. Next, we'll set our dead zone to 0. Dead zone basically makes a value negligible, which is useful for stick drift. This code is only for if you're using a dead zone, so I won't explain right now, but should you have any stick drift issues, do write this code down. Otherwise, we can just skip it. Next, we'll make sure that the Arduino is related to our COM port and our baud rate, which we set right up here. and then if it all works fine, we'll make it print connected. Moving VJoy will now control joystick will now control VJoy, which is basically just a confirmation message. Then this code is for our errors. Make sure to write it down if you feel there's any debugging required. This basically tells you about the error that's occurring so you can fix it. If you do have any errors and need help though, do write down in the comment section so I can help you. So feel free again to pause and write down the code. Otherwise, let's move on to the test. So you can open your VJoy monitor and make sure your joystick is working as it is here. When you move it on the x-axis, the x-axis should update, and same for the y. So now that we've confirmed that's working, we'll use a demo using Google Earth Pro. So Google Earth Pro is, as the name says, it's by Google. It'll Other than just being a caveat for exploring the Earth, you can also use it to fly a plane. So I'll teach you how to do that in just a section. So in Google Earth, you'll first click Control Alt and A to get a menu that says Flight Simulator. From there, you'll click Current View or an airport of your choice and click Start Flight. But before that, I'll show you the joystick so you can learn how to control it side by side. So, with the power of editing, we now have a joystick. So, now that we have our joystick, let's open Google Earth Pro and start with our flight. So, I'll just click the Start Flight button, and now I can use the joystick to control it. If I pull the joystick back, we go up. If we push it forward, we go down. You can also use it to tilt left, right, and in any direction you like. So that's it for the Google bit. If you want, please share, like, comment, and subscribe to help out small creators and have more useful tutorials like this. Till then, this is Jappan signing off.